Life with Susan Harf, our very favorite life coach. Hi everyone, I'm Rose Martin, and thanks for joining us for tools and strategies for what we can do to navigate this crazy journey we're on called life. Susan's here again today to give us all tips and insights, and I can't wait to hear what's on her mind. Susan, what's on your mind today?
Thank you, Rose, and I'm happy you're here with us too. So today I have a secret, and the secret is, did you know that nobody can make you feel anything?
Okay, wait.
Never.
No one can make me feel anything ever. It certainly doesn't feel that way sometimes, because the reactions are that you, oh, okay, I'm getting it. They're projecting it. I'm projecting my feelings and blaming it on someone else because I've got choices. Is that where we're going?
Maybe. Have you ever said, you made me feel so fill in the blank?
Good and bad. You made me feel so happy when you gave me that card, or you made me feel angry when you did that. Yeah, I have. Guilty.
So to illustrate my point, I'm going to invite you to say something not so nice to me. And I'm going to tell you what it is.
Okay.
I want you to say, Susan, you are a terrible cook. Tell me.
Susan, you're a terrible cook.
Now, do you think that that sounds nice?
No.
Do you think that that would make me upset?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you, and Rose might be listening, didn't make me upset.
Oh.
Here's why. Because I am a great cook. I love to cook. Now tell me, well, last night I had dinner at your house and it was horrible.
Well, I still think you're a bad cook because I ate there last night and it was awful.
Do you think that's nice?
No.
Do you think that might make me feel a little badly?
Yes, and you're probably never inviting me again.
Guess how I feel.
Well, I'm guessing it doesn't bother you.
Didn't bother me at all. I feel fine. You could go so far as to say, I will tell everyone that you are a terrible cook, and I would still be saying, okay, she's got her opinion, but I don't feel that way. And here's why. Because no matter what you say in regard to my cooking, I know that I'm a good cook. People love to come to my house to eat. If you don't, that's okay with me. You don't have to like my cooking because I love my cooking. And I think I'm a creative cook. I think I make it look pretty. I think I like to I pay attention to the way things are put together, so I don't serve, for instance, Brussels sprouts with something that's also green. I take my time to think of
Presentation's important.
Presentation. And also, I cook what I love to eat. So it's okay with me if you were to say something that didn't sound nice because I feel good about that. And that's what's going on in my head when you say something mean about my cooking. Now I'm going to invite you to say something else to me.
Okay.
I want you to
By the way, I love your cooking. I've had your bread and it's very, very good. I love your cooking.
You're funny. You don't have to love it. Okay. So now I want you to say, Susan, I know you've been trying to lose 10 pounds and you haven't lost it. I want you to say that to me.
Susan, I know you've been trying to lose 10 pounds. You haven't done it.
And by the way, how do you think I feel about that? Was that nice for you to say that to me?
No,
Okay.
It was awful.
And now I want you to say, Susan, you tell people you swim every day, but sometimes you miss swimming. Sometimes you don't go to the pool. Say that to me.
Susan, you know you tell people you swim every day, but you and I both know you miss sometimes and you don't go to the pool and it's not every day.
How do you think that sounds? Do you think that sounds not so nice?
No, that sounds very judgmental and mean. It's none of my business.
And now I want you to say, Susan, do you know how much better you would feel if you would just stick to that program and lose those 10 pounds?
Hey, Susan, you know how much better you would feel if you just stick to your program, do what you say, and lose those 10 pounds?
How do you think that makes me feel?
Like I am a jerk. What on earth is Rose telling me all this stuff for? That's none of her business.
So you know how I feel about what you said, Rose? not so good.
Yeah.
I don't feel so good about it. And I want to say, Rose, when you said that, you made me feel badly. But you know what? That's not really what happened. All you did was tick off something in my head that's already there.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't really make me feel badly. I make myself feel let down when I don't stick to my exercise regimen or I don't stick to my healthy eating program. I feel let down by me. And that is in my head, no matter who I encounter, no matter what they say. And even when someone says to me, oh, you don't need to lose weight and you don't need to go to the pool every day, 3 times a week is plenty. Even when they say that, I still feel the same way because I know I feel better if I go every day, and I know I feel better when I don't start out the morning with a piece of cake.
Some days, I don't know. Some days that's really good.
Oh yeah, which is why I do it some days. But the point is that you don't make me feel badly arbitrarily by things that we might say are not nice or mean or careless or callous. Those words do not have feelings attached to them. We assign the feelings to the words. So that's both good news and bad news.
So is it really just a reflection of what is already in me if I feel bad if someone says something that's not, it wasn't new information, it's just something in me that's triggering something and making me realize, yeah, that's really not going great.
Yes, and too often we attribute that trigger to the other person. So what we say is, I want to avoid that person, or I think that person is arbitrarily, we say that person's mean, or that person's not nice, or that person doesn't care about me because they say those things. When in fact, that's not true. What's true is that we assign feelings to words. And when we do that, we can have both negative and positive emotions, but they are 100% of the time due to what is already inside of our little head. And so how that manifests itself in our relationships is, instead of pointing the finger at other people and saying, you made me feel that way, we need to instead turn that finger around and say to ourselves, we made ourselves feel that way. We made ourselves feel badly, not so great, perfectly fine, depending upon how we view the situation or the talk or the feelings that were elicited. Whenever those feelings come up, we put them there. And that's what we need to focus on. So what I was going to say was that that's good news and bad news. The bad news is that we don't feel good about it. The good news is, the great news is, we can change it. And we can't change other people. We can't spend our time thinking about what they're going to say, what they're going to do, what they're going to make us feel. Instead, what we need to spend our time doing is, what do I have to do to change how I feel about that? So, for instance, if somebody says, I don't like your cooking, I don't need to change anything. They can say that all day long. That's not going to impact me negatively.
Like, your opinion is none of my business, friends, one of those.
Exactly, one of those things, that's right. But in fact, if something does bother us, that is a cue that we need to change something. We need to change whatever it is to make ourselves feel okay about that. So for instance, if I stuck to my exercise regimen every day, if I stuck to my healthy eating program more often, then I probably would feel fine if, let's say, the weight doesn't come off as soon as I want, but I'm trying, I'd feel much better about it. So regardless of what somebody else says to us, we need to have the self-talk that makes sense. We need to know further what that self-talk is, so that instead we're not pointing the finger at you who made me feel a certain way. Instead, we turn around that finger, we point it at ourselves and say, what do we need to change so that we are not bothered by other people and what they say, think, do, feel?
Is that the question that we should say? Personally, what do I need to change because that elicited a response in me I didn't like?
Yes.
So that's what I say to myself. What do I need to change?
Exactly.
What do I
And
need to
too
change?
often, exactly. And too often, we are so busy pointing the finger at the other person that we don't even think about the fact that all they did was tick off something in us that was already there. And that's where we need to stay. It's already there. So when I'm walking in the supermarket and I hear the Ben & Jerry's ice cream calling me, saying, Susan, come get me, come get me. My favorite is Toffee Crunch. It used to be Heath Bar Crunch, but they're not allowed to say that anymore because it's a trademark, so they call it Toffee Crunch. So, bet you didn't think I was going to tell you that little piece of info. But anyway, so when I'm walking in the supermarket with my cart, minding my own business, I have been known to tell people I didn't want to put it in my cart, but it was calling me, come get me. Well, you and I both know it really didn't call me, but I like to think it did. So instead of saying it wasn't my fault that it came home with me, I have to say it is my doing. I am in charge. I am in charge of what I do. I'm in charge of what I think. I'm in charge of what I say to myself. And the other thing about that is that we all have a tape running all day long. And it's amazing how much we get done. It's given all the stuff that we're thinking about and trying to do. But one of the things that's happening when we're speaking to other people, when we're doing things about our day, we have a tape that's running in our head all day long that we are, and it's talking. It's our words to ourselves. We are talking to ourselves all day long. So we need to recognize that. And we also need to recognize what's in that tape. What are we saying to ourselves? Instead of pointing the finger at somebody else and saying, they made me feel that way because of what they said, we need to say to ourselves, how are we making ourselves feel because of what we think about ourselves? And so what we need to change is the self-talk and what we think about ourselves, what we say to ourselves, and then more importantly, what do we need to do to make sure that that self-talk is valid and good and positive and something that we want to be hearing, so that if somebody else has an opinion, it's none of our business about us.
So then we are in charge of our own feelings in any situation.
Exactly. Exactly. And so sometimes we need to change what we think or change what we do. Other times, we don't need to change in order to feel good about ourselves. All we need, in other words, we don't need to do anything.
You can dismiss the other person's opinion, because it's not valid for you.
Not only that, even before you get to the dismissing of the other person's opinion, you don't even consider it because that's not your value. Okay. That's not what you think. So I don't have to dismiss your opinion when you say you're a lousy cook, because you're entitled to that opinion. That's okay with me. I don't need everybody to agree with me. I just need to agree with myself. So I don't need you to agree that I'm a good cook. It's okay with me if you don't think I am. There are conservative dressers and there are more flamboyant dressers. I am not a conservative dresser.
Really?
There are some people who want to dress conservatively, and that is their absolute right. And I think that looks good on them. But I think what I choose to wear, and it's not necessarily conservative, is good for me. But that doesn't mean that you're not entitled to your opinion. You can have the opinion, gee, I think she'd look better in a suit. That's fine. It's okay with me if you feel that. It's okay with me if you believe that. It doesn't make me feel badly that I don't believe the same thing. So that's the other thing that makes us able to be happy with one another and not only feel good about other people, but ourselves as well. We don't have to share the same opinion about us. It's okay. Not everyone's going to like you. Not everyone's going to like what you do. Not everybody is going to like your choice. But that's okay. What is important is that you don't become subservient to other people's views about what you do, what you say, what you believe, what your value system should be. Those are things that are dictated by you. And so if somebody says something to you that you don't like, before you start to avoid that person, instead, you say thank you, because they now have let you know that there's something in your head that's not right with you. There's something that you believe about yourself that you don't want to continue.
You know, you mentioned earlier about having certain word associations with feelings. How do you change that if a certain word evokes, you know, a feeling that isn't even warranted or rational, maybe even?
I think that's more of an intellectual pursuit. So in other words, to give you an example, when I was growing up, when I was a teenager, my father had a saying, and the saying was, if I wanted to do something that he didn't want me to do, he would say it's not necessary. He would say, when I wanted to wear makeup at about 14, he said, that's not necessary. When I wanted to go to the high school dance, my father forgot I was in high school and he wanted me to go to the middle school dance. and he said to me, that's not necessary. And I had to remind him, well, actually, I'm in high school now and I think I should go. It was most things with my father, when it came to me, it was not necessary. Cars with boys in cars,
yeah,
not necessary. Okay. Well, the first time I had a discussion with my husband, this is long after I was being raised by my father, the first time we had a discussion where my husband said, I don't think that's necessary.
Oh.
I looked at him and I said, what did you say? And he said, I just meant that I don't think it's necessary that we do such and such. I don't even remember what it was. I had a reaction to that. He didn't even know where that reaction was coming from. I had to tell him. I said, well, I'm going to tell you about that word. It's not that phrase. It's not necessary. I don't like that phrase. And so I had to change what that phrase meant to me. I had to say, when my husband says, or when someone else says, it's not necessary, that's all they mean. There's no hidden agenda to that.
Right.
So I think it's more that instead of attributing feelings to that, I think what we have to do is say to ourselves, does that make rational sense that when this word comes up, it means the same feeling to me? Does it have to mean the same feeling to me that it meant when I was 14? And the answer is no. And so I think that when you allow yourself to evaluate that, most of us will get to the point where we say, you know what, I don't need that word anymore to mean the same thing.
And we're okay. We're okay with what you think, what you feel, how you act, and if you recognize it, then change it. If
Exactly.
it's not working for you.
Exactly.
I feel better already. Thank you so much to Susan Harf for letting us know and teaching us all about our ways to deal with feelings and words and other people. I learned so much every single session that we have with her. If you want to learn more or contact Susan directly, her address is reallife@blueridgepbs.org. Until next time, let's go out there and take these advice and tips and live our best life.